How's it going, man? How you doing? Bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada bing, bada boom. Boy, we're gonna have a show tonight. Andy Harris, Governor Andy Harris. Listen, what I'm gonna do, I want to show the whole thing if I can.
Stop taking medication without first consulting a physician. For a free consultation, you may get significant compensation. Call 800-516-9931. 800-516-9931. That's 800.
You're good. I'll tell you what I'm gonna bang.
Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs. Call Civic Tax Relief for free information now. Start program.
There it is, hell of a show. All kinds of crazy stuff that's going on. Jesus. Woo!
841-0908. 800-841-0908. 800-841-0908.
Broadcasting from the CBM Safe Retirement Solutions Studios. Call Rob Baroli, 410-266-1120. Retirement.com.
The views and opinions you hear on Talk Radio 680, WCBM, and WCBM.com are not necessarily those of the owners, management, employers, and advertisers of WCBM, but they should be.
The Pat McDonough Show is brought to you by Super Citizen Radio. Baltimore is listening to Talk Radio 680 WCBM. It's time now for Super Citizen Radio and Valerie McDonough.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the show. We're looking forward to this program because there isn't much in the news, of course, to discuss. But we have our favorite congressman on tonight, Andy Harris, who was right there. And unlike the Baltimore CNN as to what he experienced and what happened, and his wife, our second favorite wife, I'm sorry,
here,
Nicole Harris, and let's start off with this, Andy, the impeachment. Tell me where there's a justification for an impeachment.
it's the same justification they had before. Nothing. There's no justification. Called for a peaceful protest, and obviously that was enough to. I don't get it.
Well, I mean,
we watched Black Lives Matter all summer. We watched the anti-protests all summer. We watched the Democrats egging them on. We have, in fact, Ayanna Pressley just today about
such a cool show.
Cosmo,
I miss you, buddy, man. How you doing, huh?
And nobody pays any attention to the Democrats, does it? But they make it up with the president. They're gonna bring articles of impeachment this week and all like. That's just just a waste of time.
Well, waste of money too.
Absolutely. And, there are a lot of things they should be doing in Congress, like taking care of the American people. But instead, they're still wasting their time on another impeachment hoax. That's what it is.
Now, every protest rally in Washington, whether it's the pro-choice people or the pro-life people, their leaders stand up on the stage, make their speeches, and they always say, "Go down to Capitol Hill and go see and confront your Congress people." They all do that. Now, did he say anything? Strength? Guess what is that? Does that mean go storm the place?
No, absolutely not. And as I pointed out,
Mike, how's it going, man?
I've done the March
God bless
It starts near the White House and it ends up in front of the Supreme Court.
All the way,
that doesn't mean that we're sending
all
people inside the Supreme Court to break in while the justices are there. The only argument that they make that I can say, okay, well, maybe he should have, is that he's the executive branch, they're the legislative branch, so it's kind of one branch against the other. But, that's what the Democrats in the legislature have been doing for the last 4 years, is talking bad about the executive branch, about the president.
Well, they've attacked him from the day he came down the escalator.
Absolutely. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say, well, the president can't do anything to you, but you can do everything you want to the president. It just doesn't work that way.
Well, we had an invasion of the White House this summer. They tried to get into the White House. The president had to be removed and protected. And I was on Square Off yesterday, which you can pick it up on squareoff.com. And Stephanie Blake, who's a lawyer, said, well, he had the Department of Justice police there. He had the Army there. He had everybody there. Well, he probably needed them. But I said, you're a lawyer. Don't you realize he doesn't have the authority legally to send the Army and the Department of Justice police down to the Capitol. The Capitol's under the control of Nancy Pelosi. And just like a mayor has to request that.
That's right. They can't send people onto Capitol Hill. The Capitol Police are in charge of what goes on there. They do have to request it. They ultimately did. They accepted the help, but there was no army there near the White House. That was uncontrolled violence. It was egged on by the mayor and by the liberal Democrats this summer.
WCBM, the Pat
Every
McDonough Show.
American
Ron
watched it
Savage
with their
speaking.
own
Who's called
eyes.
tonight, please?
And all of a sudden, it's like they got religion.
Hold on,
Like, oh yeah, you can't have violent protests. Well,
you say
had
Ron?
them all summer. Now this is different because just like I don't condone breaking into storefronts, I don't condone looting, rioting, setting dumpsters on fire. I don't condone any. No one I know does condone that. But the bottom line is you don't set up an impeachment over that. This is and Americans will see right through it.
I think it will backfire, to be honest with you. Especially, the National Democrat Socialist media will, of course, film everything. And average people, it's gotten to the point now, I'm going to tell you, we're going to have to shift our protests. The conservative patriots are going to have to start protesting the media. We're going to have to go to Atlanta to CNN. And put 10,000 people on the streets.
They'll start with the Baltimore Sun.
Well, they're going anyway.
They've actually been bought out. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I saw that
I didn't know
was
that.
some talk about that. Did it actually go through?
I didn't know that.
Actually going through from what we understand.
Yeah, that's what we understand. But also they've dropped to 50,000 readers. They have paid readership of 50,000 from 200,000. So, and if they're sold doesn't mean that they're going to be any better. But the fact of the matter is, let's talk about the media and the press. They attack you constantly, every day. They lie about you.
Yes, they do.
Maybe we should do something with the Baltimore Sun. I don't know about what we can do, but they are the homegrown socialists.
I just don't talk to them anymore. We were talking, Nicole and I, on the way over. We're just waiting because, the Houston newspaper called for Ted Cruz to resign, and you said
Both major papers in
Missouri, right?
Called for Senator Hawley.
For Hawley to resign. And I'm like, and she says, well, didn't the Baltimore Sun call for me to resign? I said, no, that's coming this week.
And but what was in the end?
Maybe once you stood up against a wall.
What was interesting about you, Andy, because I saw some of the things that were posted by the Baltimore Sun. I posted them on my Facebook page. But what I thought was so interesting about it was our county executive in Harford County, which you represent, I used to represent that area. He had negative thoughts. He said he was ashamed for you to fight back against a congressman.
Well, worse than that, he said I was sedition. It was an act of sedition.
Yes.
Like, really? I have an act of sedition?
Right.
Yeah,
come on, what are you talking about?
You're exercising your constitutional right and our constitutional
what's going on?
And you're representing us vigorously as a patriot. And this bum who used to be my friend, Barry Glassman, who wants to run for governor, and I tell you, he's the new Hogan, by the way, but Glassman, on the other hand, how is he, you're very popular. You've won a few elections.
I've won a couple.
And you're in Harford County. A lot of people are very fond of you. And if he thinks he can say, which he's saying something extreme.
Well, he accused me of sedition. Last I looked, sedition's a capital crime. I don't take that lightly. Barry, call into the show, Barry, and tell me why you think I committed an act of sedition.
Well, we sent out an email on Barry, and you would be surprised at the reaction.
WCBM,
I don't think you would be surprised. It's the reaction we expected. He's calling you Benedict Arnold.
Yep.
Okay, all right, hold on, Paul.
And the worst.
And you're not Benedict Arnold because he was 5'9", you're 6'2".
And the worst part about it was the Baltimore Sun said that you basically got into a confrontation. Okay, and the way they made it sounded like a fist fight. And the truth of the matter was, it was not a fist fight; it was a verbal.
It was a lively
exchange of words
on the floor of the house. Absolutely.
That's new, right?
Bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada bing.
Yeah, they got it.
This is serious.
This
is a show to check out tonight, okay?
And
for those of you who miss it, tell your friends to come on my page.
4 o'clock in the
Check
morning.
it out.
In the morning.
Yeah, they were
That's
watching.
it. The freaking guys still they keep cutting it like the show off from Facebook.
You in the middle, right? In the middle aisle.
Cuts off.
In the middle
They
aisle.
put it on immediately
And
again.
they wouldn't even know
Okay, so
what
please
was
stay with me.
said. Okay, and basically.
Because it's rampant with the libtardism
So
right now.
Connor Lamb, the guy who, thanks to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, won a House Representative seat, Connor Lamb, one of the Democrats, got up and basically said, turned to the Republicans in part of debate and said, All the lies that you have told, are just wrong, and you deserve no respect. And according to the rules of the House, you cannot do that to another member.
Right.
You can't do it to the president. You can't say things like that. And the remedy is for someone to stand up and say, Madam Speaker, I move to take down those words.
Yes.
And I wasn't
Same way when you were in the legislature, you couldn't do that in the
you
legislature.
couldn't do it then, but you had a microphone in every seat in the legislature. In Congress, you don't. I'm sitting 5 rows back from the microphone. By the rules, you have to say it immediately. You can't let time lapse. So you have to stand up and you have to yell out, Madam Speaker, I move to take down the gentleman's words. Well, all the Democrats start yelling at me. Sit down, sit down. No, I have a right to stand up and
Yes,
make the
they
motion
didn't
to take
elect
down
you.
those
Your
words.
people elected you.
Absolutely. So then they
Yeah.
start getting a little
Hold on.
aggressive, and
This is true. This is true.
and Colin Allred kind of comes up to me. He gets out of his seat. He comes toward me and says, "Listen, it's been a difficult day. We all we should just sit down. And we turned around and sat down. It was done. It was over in 30 seconds, 15. There was nothing physical at all about it. But the press wants to make, the press is just as complicit in all this as anyone else.
Let me tell you something, Andy. The press
They
and
stir
the
it
media is worse.
Yeah.
Is worse. The biggest threat in this country. They are the Trojan horse in America. You know the story of the Trojan horse, of course.
WCBM,
Slipping in as a gift or supposed to be helpful, benefit, free
Garrett?
press. They are here to subjugate this country.
Yep.
And they will lie. I'll give you an example. Grandma, who went over, visited Washington for this Trump rally, and went over on a bus and came back on the bus and had her little American flag.
Devin, I'm sorry.
She is now a terrorist.
Yep.
By the American media standards and the radical left, she is a terrorist.
And needs to be cleansed,
I gotta laugh.
according to ABC.
I'm telling you, they're already into
Cleansing,
publicly
yeah.
saying needs to be cleansed.
Yep.
Now, how would this impeachment process work? I mean, the last time it took some time to do it. The man's leaving on the 20th.
Yeah, but so this will be I guess the world's fastest impeachment, because normally impeachments, you're right. Even if you're impeaching a judge, you're impeaching someone lower. It takes weeks. You have to have hearings. You have to do this. As you know, Pat, they haven't even formed the committees yet. There is no
Well,
judicial
she's talking about
You were there?
Oh, absolutely, of course, because they don't play by the rules.
Okay,
They
all right,
make up
Devin, and the
so they're
question
gonna make
you
up
have
the
is-
rules, and they're going to bring an articles of impeachment directly to the floor. Never been done before in history. Doesn't talk about unprecedented. Never been done before in history, and they're going to do it. And they may do it Monday, they may do it Tuesday, I don't know when, but it's going to go to the Senate, and McDonough will do the proper thing and say,
McDonald's out.
well, no, he's still.
No, I mean, the Senate is out until the 20th.
Oh yeah, but they come in the 19th.
The 19th.
Yeah, so on the 19th, I mean,
Right before the
one
inauguration.
senator is going to object. That's all it takes. One senator is going to object, and boom, it's
All right,
done.
Devin, hold on. We'll
It's
get you on.
done.
Thank you
Did
for calling
ever
Pat
notice
McDonough
when
Show.
you
Hold
were
on,
here,
please.
Nicole, you've been around a little while also. I mean, not as elected, but
1
you've
minute.
been active. You ever notice that the radical left, whether it's CNN or Rachel Maddow or anybody, they don't believe in the rule of law. They don't believe in the Constitution. They don't believe in the law. It doesn't exist for them.
This when it can be used against the right.
Yeah, or benefit Hunter Biden.
That's right.
I mean, to me, one of them. I have witnessed miracles in my life, and one of the miracles I have witnessed is that Hunter Biden has been under investigation. He hasn't been indicted, but he's been under investigation for an entire
McDonough Show.
year.
Ron Savage speaking.
His
Who's calling
father
Mike,
got
please?
up on the stage during debate and said, "My son has done nothing wrong."
Oh, yeah. What's your
and
name,
we're
sir?
proud of him. Technically, he's right because he hasn't
Ben.
been indicted.
Okay. And where are you calling from,
But
Ben?
he didn't say anything about the investigation.
Where at?
But Andy, have you ever seen in your career
please come
where
forward.
something at this level,
And what's
Does not
your
have a
talk to
leaker?
Pat and the Senator?
how do you, what
Well,
also,
there
what
were
topic?
leakers. I mean, there are people.
well, what
there are
happened,
people-
nobody knew about it.
Oh, I see. To get it this late, but I mean, obviously before the
Oh,
election,
man, this
that,
is great.
Babolinsky, or whatever his name is, he came out and he said, no, this is Hunter Biden's crooked. I mean,
But
this
here's
is-
the difference, Andy.
and-
He said that, you're
Yeah.
right. But the
hold
investigation
on,
was a
okay?
formal investigation for a year. And in
That's right.
today's
Yeah,
world,
yeah.
with 5,000 so-called media outlets and journalists,
And yes, I'm playing cool songs too. Hey,
tens of
Ken, how you
thousands
doing,
of
baby?
people in the Department
Betsy-
of Justice, I have never witnessed
Betsy
in my
working
life-
tonight?
If Trump coughed, if they thought he was sick,
Where's she
he'd
at?
be out the next minute. But the entire year, none of this.
Is Betsy working tonight?
I've never witnessed
Betsy,
that.
I'm watching you. Yeah.
Get worse. When Joe Biden
Yes.
Well,
She's
fortunately, I guess
security.
Merrick Garland is going to be the Attorney General. We think he actually is a decent person. I mean, he's not a conservative, a decent person. But the Department of Justice is only going to get worse. The bottom line.
All right, Ken,
is
yes,
that,
you got.
to say
Betsy Bootsy
someone
is security.
innocent but
Betsy
has not
Bootsy's
been
always here with me.
investigated is not exactly
My
the
little-
same
my
thing.
little girl.
And if he's so innocent, why not do the investigation? If he's so innocent,
What's the point?
This is like the elections. If nothing happened, if there's no fraud, show us the machines, show us the ballots, show us the envelopes with signatures.
All right, we
What do
need
you
to
have to
take a
hide?
break. We have a lot of callers. We'll be right back with Andy Harris, Nicole Harris, and what's your name again, dear?
I'm not answering
Your
that. You
name's,
should
your
know
name's
it.
Mud.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought it would be too difficult?
Oh boy, this is a hot show, guys. I'm telling you, it's a hot show tonight. What happened and everything. Jesus Christ.
Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking.
So let me tell you right off the bat, okay,
Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that makes language
bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, bada boom.
It starts by teaching
I'll start at the end of this, but first of all, listen, Bluefish Apparel, check out Bluefish Apparel, please. All right, get us Steve Blueford, do the thing, okay? 443-278-4853. He can have a picture of you, your mom, the dog, everything on his shirt. He's a nice man, too. And I'll tell you what, he's also a longshoreman with Local 333. Longshoreman Union Local 333, yeah! And the next commercial is my friend from the Krabby Greek. You're going to die. Here we go. Listen.
Wow, this is one of the best crab cakes in town. That's what you will say after having a great crab cake at the Krabby Greek. The Krabby Greek is open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and on Saturdays from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. And here's where it really gets great. The Krabby Greek caters 7 days a week. Just call 410-494-9144 for your catering needs. There is also a full menu available from the Greek-style octopus to that great crab cake we talked about. Plus, there is live entertainment. You can enjoy authentic Greek music in the comfortable outdoor dining room. For more information, call 410-494-9144. Once again, the number is 410-494-9144. Do something special. Check out the Krabby Greek.
And you should. You should. And yes, I'll tell you what. Bill's going to take care of you, man. Bill's a friend of mine as well. And I'll tell you what, you go there, try the freaking crab cakes. You're going to freaking die. You're going to die. It's so good, everybody. But please, try it. I'm telling you. You just heard about it. It's terrific. Right there in Towson. You can't beat it. The Krabby Greek, okay? All right, please. It's 502 Washington Avenue. 502 Washington Avenue. Right there in Towson. They're open Monday to Friday, 7 to 10. Call. Give them a call, man. Give them a call at 410-494-9144. That's 410-494-9144. Do it or die, eh? No, I'm kidding. Call them. You're going to have fun. All right? Krabby Greek. Try the crab cakes and the rest of the food, too. Remember, Friday night, live music. Saturday, DJ inside. It's going to be a lot of fun. Very, very communal. Very cool. Very, very cool. One more.
Break any of those stories.
We're going to come back, everybody, so check it out. Ken, Mike, Cosmo, check it out.
Weekday afternoons 3 to 6.
And I'm going to play cool music, so look out.
WCBM.
And now back to Super Citizen Radio on Talk Radio 680 WCBM and worldwide at WCBM.com.
Okay, we are back with Congressman Andy Harris and his wife Nicole Harris, two of our favorite people. And Andy did survive. You made it.
I made it.
You made it home
to
to be
week.
totally criticized by Barry and
the Baltimore Sun.
And the Baltimore Sun. They'll probably endorse Glassman for governor. Anyway, let's take a call from Ben, who's down there in good old Queenstown. Ben, good evening.
Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Harris, how are you tonight?
Good. I was just in Queenstown today.
Awesome. Well, hey, I just wanted to call and thank you so much for standing up for our president. You have my ever-dying support. I can't thank you enough.
Well, thank you. You don't agree with the Baltimore Sun then, huh?
Definitely not.
No, thank you very much, and thanks for those words, because let me tell you something, social media has lit me up. Obviously, people from the district, people in the district, they know me, they've obviously reelected me by a pretty wide margin, but people around the country, the trolls, I mean, they're ruthless, I'm telling you. We just can't give up. We just cannot give up. This struggle is going to go on, but we can't give up.
Now,
I got your back.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Now, Nicole, this stuff's got to upset you.
Yeah, I think that it upsets any wife and everything of an elected, or any spouse, I should say, because we definitely have some male spouses,
Sure.
husbands and stuff too.
Well, got a lot now.
We've had the same experience with
Yes.
you on the state level.
Mhm.
Okay, because Pat's had death threats and everything like this. We had
And that was from my wife.
and we've had the police down in Annapolis come and stay at our house.
Yeah, we
and
had the
stuff
state
like.
police, yeah.
Yeah, and you
WCBN,
have
the
to
Pat
think about
McDonough Show, Ron Savage speaking. Who's calling tonight, please?
your children are grown, but still,
Mike from
it's a
Pinkford.
fact where it
Oh, you're welcome.
interferes with your life.
Well, they try. They try. And
They try.
my attitude, I've been around a long
Okay,
time.
would
I've
you like
always
to
been
talk to,
criticized, never been praised.
Congressman
And
Wright?
basically, it rolls off my shoulder. I get kind of a kick out of it. If you listen to me on radio, if I get a knucklehead on, I have fun. But Valerie gets ticked off. She was talking to some professor from Virginia, was a lefty. She wanted to go to Virginia, kill him and his dog.
You got it. I'll tell you what,
Burn
Mike
the
Springs,
house.
I don't have
the election,
tolerance for
springboard off
stupid
anything
people.
like that.
I just don't. And when you're stupid
Mike,
and you
hold
make
on,
a
I'll get
stupid
you on.
comment, I'm going to come after you.
I'm
And if you lie about me, I'm going to come after you. And Andy, you know that.
I think that I'm in between Valerie and Andy and everything. Andy lets a lot of stuff roll off his back and everything. I get a little bit more upset. You talk about our children and everything.
You're going to come after
I'm
them.
going to be
That's it.
very
Bada boom, bada bing.
upset,
Oh, we got.
and I'm gonna be very aware.
And even your staff.
There we
Your
go.
staff. They were up at Andy's office on Thursday, yelling, screaming, and everything.
The usual
These are-
Harford
these
County
are-
Bel Air.
These
crowd.
are
Yeah.
innocent people that are working. Okay.
Hey, Bill.
What gives you the right to come
Still
here and
support
scream in
Yeah, that's
their
right,
face?
Bill. You're
You
absolutely
are
right,
the
baby.
first
How you doing
people
tonight,
to
Bill?
knock immediately.
Well, I said at their holiday party, which was great.
Terrific.
Danielle was a guest speaker.
Oh, wow.
Danielle Hornberger, she was
Yeah.
wonderful. And Jordana Schiffarelli from Queenstown is
Yeah,
an
yeah,
amazing
yeah,
person.
That was a great story there, taking that school board.
Yeah, amazing. So they were both our guest speakers. And I said at that, and I said to Valerie, I said, should I say this? And she said, yeah, it's the truth. So I got up and I said, we're going to have to work hard to save this country. But I have great confidence in the women of America because they are mothers and grandmothers. And no way are they going to tolerate their children and grandchildren being taken over by a socialist, oppressive nation. If we come to the final moment, like Davy Crockett at the Alamo,
Davy Crockett at the
rifle
Alamo.
fighting off the Mexican army, those women are going to be there. Now we got to help them out, Andy.
I think that's why, we have 17 new Republican congresswomen.
That's an amazing bunch.
It's unbelievable.
That's an amazing
I
bunch.
mean, all of a sudden, the Republican
amazing
women have
bunch.
stepped up.
I'll drink to
elected in
that.
17 different races. And
Yeah.
I don't know if we're counting New York 22. That's still up in the air. 'Cause Democrats are still trying to steal a couple of them. But that's the way they work.
this new water jug out.
But yeah, it's incredible. We more than doubled the number of women in the caucus. It's you're absolutely right. And it's going to be a new look to to the Republican caucus.
Oh, what is it? I don't know.
They're amazing women too. Now, how we're going to go to our callers, but how did there was a lot of discussion about the possibility that with the squad and new people, that Pelosi got elected by like 5 votes.
No,
or
she
something?
got elected by 1 vote.
One vote.
It was 216 to 209, but there were 5 Democrats who either voted present or voted for someone else, so they actually count as votes against her. So it was 216 to 214.
Hey, Dad, say that. Listen to this, Bill. Listen, please.
She wouldn't be speaker. It would be 250 to 215, and she wouldn't have become speaker.
Well, I think
I'm
they
sorry, it would
would've
have been 215 to 209, but she wouldn't have achieved 216, which
I
is the
think-
number she'd be.
I think they would have been afraid to switch because then they would have had the mob after them.
Oh yeah.
Make no
Well,
mistake about it.
the mob, they would never have because they did
Those
somebody
the capital
else.
instead of making the MAGA rally look bad.
Right, same thing they do in Annapolis.
They had to do it some way, so after a little stage
Who do you think will
ruckus,
replace her? Who has the
they
inside
let
track?
the Antifa people
if
in
it were tomorrow, I mean, Steny Hoyer has wanted to be obviously wanted to speak for a while. I mean, he has a lot of loyalty among the Democrats, but I don't think the socialists would put up with him.
Oh man, it's the pizza guy.
And that would be a good thing. Of course, we don't want to lose Pelosi in a way.
No, it's so funny you say that because that's exactly what Kevin McCarthy said at a conference. We
would
right
have
after
to
the
vote
election.
for her.
Like, yeah, she's like, she might lose, but I don't want her to lose. I
No,
want her to be speaker.
She's a great fundraiser, and of course, as usual, the mob is using both the Congress, the Senate, all of the mob, the media. They're using this as a fundraiser. The bigger they build this up in this impeachment, it's all about politics, trying to keep the House in 22, trying to stop the president from ever running again and raise money. That's what it's all about, and they'll never admit it.
Please.
Yeah, this is all politics. It's and it's a shame because they stood by. Nancy Pelosi delayed the COVID aid for a couple of months so we should get past the election.
It's a great job, man. I'm telling you, man.
I want all your listeners to remember what we were doing 1 year ago. The Chinese had this problem with this virus, and we were distracted by an impeachment.
What was that?
Instead of paying attention to what was going on in China with the Wu flu, we were distracted by an impeachment hoax that lasted until February. Enough time for that virus to leave China, get to Europe, get to the United States, while Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer were talking about impeachment.
Well, the Israeli government's scientific commission, you're a doctor. I used to introduce Andy all the time when he was in the Senate. We would go to events, and I'd always say, Dr. Harris is an anesthesiologist. He puts people to sleep. And he would always criticize me and say, no, I wake people up. I wake people up, right? But anyway, and they're very respected and feared, this group, because they're like brilliant people. And they are saying, number one, that this virus is not natural. All the discoveries they've looked into, and this is like the Mossad, Israelis, brilliant scientists. They say this thing is not natural. Right. And it came out of that virology.
The Wuhan Institute of Virology, absolutely right, which from a research lab that was partially funded by Dr. Fauci's institute, National Institute of Health.
And that's
absolutely.
And that's who Governor Hogan's listening to.
Yeah. So
who cost the taxpayers $14 million.
About that money and whether it was well spending money, because what they were going to do, they were looking at whether you could mutate those viruses to supposedly the Chinese were doing it so they could figure out a way to treat it. But I think
that's what they claim.
Yeah, I think they were doing it to use as a biological weapon.
Well, they certainly has been a biological weapon.
Hell yeah, man!
We haven't seen the end of this yet.
This is scarier
it could
than
destroy
nuclear.
the world. It could destroy the world economy.
And you being in the medical
Look at
field,
Mega
you
Man
know all the
shit.
terminology, much less people like us would know. So you understand the medical part of it. So I'm glad that you're there.
Well, I think when things settle down, if these vaccines work, and I'm a believer in the vaccines, I think when things settle down and people return to some kind of normal,
the vaccine.
people and businesses and leaders are going to begin to reflect, and they're going to think, what was this all about? Let's really get some answers, okay? I hope that happens. But that center, Andy, is under the authority of the Chinese Communist Party, but the military division.
Absolutely, they had a military guy in charge of the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
You go.
I doubt he was a virologist.
No. Let's talk to Rob in Middle River. Rob, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. It's not morning. You're as crazy as I am.
I love Middle River. I wish I still represented it, but
we live there. We're represented for you.
So, this is Rob, and you know me, Pat and Val.
We know you, but we don't like you, Rob. I will tell you that.
I love Rob.
I'm glad. I love you too, bud. Here we go. I was there at the rally, and I can honestly say it was peaceful and friendly. Many nice people there. Families were there.
Everyone walk and march peacefully.
Listen to this, would you please? Oh, Melissa, come on. Melissa, come on.
I got a lot to say. You got to hear this. What I noticed was about the people.
See how nice I am. See how nice I am to Melissa.
Of,
Goodbye.
Ages. Many 20s and 30s people there.
See something right now.
Very interested in politics. 20s and 30s. A lot of people wearing.
That's a change from a Trump turnout.
Yeah.
It's a good change.
Melissa Coupon says, my friend, she says Nancy Pelosi is the mob. Her whole family has been with. Get out of here! That's why Thomas.
For every Trump sign.
You.
Sign talking about.
Thank you, Melissa, and you have a good night too, and have a safe one too.
Freedom to carry guns.
Let's pray for spring, please. Spring.
Warm. Another thing I noticed was many "Don't tread on me" signs.
Yes.
Don't tread on me. You know, the sign, the yellow flag, don't tread on me. Many of those. People were very upset with the fact there are no term limits. There are many signs, and when I say many, I'm talking about like dozens, saying we need term limits. There were a few signs that said, the Capitol is our house, not theirs. So, very upset.
So how about people with helmets? Did you see young people with helmets?
No helmets, sir. No helmets, and nobody had BO, and we were very close with each other.
You were that close?
Wow.
Yeah, we were very close.
I didn't read that in the Sun.
Although
No, we were pretty close. Another statement I want to make is before I forget, the nastiness of Mayor Muriel Bowser. The people I talked to, there were many people from out of state. It just
I hate the cold. Melissa, I hate.
A lot of hundreds of thousands.
So we had Virginia, West Virginia, Georgia. We had Texas. We had New Jersey. We knew that the facilities would be shut.
There was nobody there from California.
Nope.
Nobody left in California.
So you were saying
all in Texas.
So what you were saying was there was no place to go to the bathroom.
Exactly.
Well, that happens all the time over there.
Exactly.
No, but only at Trump rallies.
Right, that's right. So
for this
it was
type.
very uncomfortable. I felt sorry for the women, and it was it was really mean-spirited. There were many unnecessary blockades. I mean, she couldn't have been more angry. I mean, these were out-of-town guests who pay taxes.
Yes, they do.
And Governor Hogan also sent 8,000 units of the COVID over to Washington, D.C., and that's how the mayor over there is treating us.
Yeah, thank you, Rob.
Bill's correct. Bill says the demo
it's
demon rats.
The double standard in America, and you know, I'm not sure we.
They don't think it's our house
anymore.
It's there.
We call it cancel.
Our house.
Cancel public. You know what? I think we need to change that. You know, we need to call that punishment.
It's so true, Bill Bankert.
That's what it is. It's punishment for you being who you are.
I think it's
Defends.
politics. You know, it's funny. The left goes around. They say two things like, "Oh, you know."
WCBM, the Pat McDonough Show. Ron Savage speaking. Who's calling tonight?
And then. And of course, they're the ones that are
then they put you in re-education.
Lily, hold on,
we
Lily.
want to unify. And then the next sentence, they all call you traitors and seditionists.
Yeah, it's a big lie.
And they just tell you we want to unify. And then it's a big lie. And then compare you to Hitler and Nazis all the time.
The whole thing
Oh, Lily, I'm sorry.
lie. Everything's a big lie with them.
Yeah.
Nothing is truthful. Nothing is honest.
Paulson, you got it.
But I want to mention something before we take a break. We've had a lot of callers. I want to mention this. That talking about freedom. You know, when you look at I have defined everything in these terms. I have said, number one, this country is at war. Number two, it's not a civil war. It is a war of conquest.
Oh, Betsy.
It's an alien philosophy like socialism and fascism that wants to take over this country and change it into a new country. And my second point is they're winning.
Lily, hold on.
They control what I call in America the power system. They control education, they control media, they control big tech, and we are in trouble, and we are taking a knife to a gunfight.
Yeah.
And it's going to be tough. So that's why Valerie and I formed Super Citizen. Now, Super Citizen is now the fastest growing conservative patriotic organization in the state of Maryland.
Yes,
in one year we have over 5,000 members, and it's getting bigger all the time. We have 20,000 email system. Next week to go to 30,000. So it's growing, and we're having these events. But we are dedicating, because he mentioned this down, Andy. It's really all about freedom. They want to take our freedom. Now, we have Hot Dog Day, we have Donut Day, right, Valerie?
Correct.
And we have the one with the Groundhog Day. You know, in America, you know, we have